Hi everyone, I hope you found your way here easily. Let me introduce you to our first case study presenter, Ivan Stefanovic, a manager at consulting at Deloitte, Serbia. Ivan has a proven track record in leading and supporting various large and small scale projects that resulted in significant strategic changes, operational improvements, and cost reductions. Most of his work has been focused on designing, facilitating, and driving changes in organizations. He's also certified Lean Six Sigma Black Belt, certified business architect, and certified performance management professional. So please welcome Ivan on screen and enjoy the Deloitte insights on global human capital trends. Ivan, the screen is all yours.
Hi, hello everyone. Thank you for this wonderful introduction. I'm very glad to be able to present the findings of Deloitte regarding global human capital trends. So let me start with the deck and allow me to say right away that this research is not a product of 1 year standalone endeavor, but rather this is the 10th year of conducting this type of research, meaning that we as Deloitte are in position to track down and to see the progress of all these trends in time. So after 10 years, we are pretty confident that we have a good insights into trends shaping human capital management. So to say something a bit more about the research itself, we had almost 9,000 respondents. This was a survey with almost 9,000 respondents from all over the globe. To be more precise, from 119 countries. So pretty much the results are from all parts of the planet. We had more than 5 industries in focus. But the industry that participated the most was the consumer industry with 19%. Again, we had professional services with 17%, behind that technology, media, telecom, etc. As for the regions, the most participants came from Western Europe with 26%. Latin and South America comes at the second place. Then we have North America, Central and Eastern Europe, etc., etc. As for the proportion of the size of organizations to which these respondents belong to, we have this division between large ones that are 10,000 and plus, medium that is between 1,000 and 10,000, and small ones below 1,000 employees. So as you can see, large organizations participate with 22%, mediums participate with 27%, and small ones, this is the largest group, with 51%. And the graph next to this one is maybe even more interesting because it shows the division between HR people and non-HR people participating in this research. So we have 55% of HR people taking part with this research. As for the hierarchy level, the vertical division of respondents, we have C-suite respondents participating with 17%, vice president level with 23%, mid-level 43%, and others with 17%. So basically, this research showed the trends, right, in human capital management globally. But what comes to mind after tracking down this research, the results of this research for 10 years, as I said already, one thing comes to mind, and this is, it all comes down to one word, and this one word is paradox, right? So why paradox? Because everything we see with technology developments and the way in which a business community is forwarding, and with it, of course, HR community, leads to the segregation between technology on one side, right, and human resources or human capital, as we call it now, on the other side. This false division, let's say division, needs to be resolved in a specific manner. So what can we do with this paradox, and what are the specifics of this paradox? So the question that comes to mind first is, can organizations remain distinctively human in a technology-driven world? We are talking so much these days about technology development, about influence of technology on organization, about how we need to reskill our employees in order to for them to become more effective in this new brave world, etc. But what can organizations do about it, and how can HR help in that sense? So basically, when we take a look on organization, almost any organization, we see that human concerns are somehow separated from technology concerns. On one hand, we have humans with all their attributes, such as belonging, such as need for security, boldness, etc. And on the other side, we have technology, which requires, in a way, it requires individuality, it requires constant reinvention, and it is let's say it is involved, it is around uncertainty. So it's time to challenge the view that humanity and technology are distinct domains or even fundamentally at odds. We believe that the greater value comes from fusion of the two. So what does that mean, and where does this research takes us? So when we took a look at the results of this year research, and we're basically seeing the same trends we saw in the last years, right? But they are evolving. So let's say we have three sets of attributes that came out as the main results. The first one is purpose. So how to connect belonging and individuality, right? So belonging needs to be connected to individuality, because, as we said, the technology is about individual endeavors and individual technological developments. On the other hand, we have a set of attributes called potential. So we are searching for security through reinvention. And the third set of attributes is perspective. We are looking for boldness into uncertainty. Every set of attributes has its own, attributes, of course. The first one is belonging. So how to connect an individual to the whole organization? How is he or she going to make a contribution to that organization? How is he or she going to feel as belonging to that organization? The second attribute is designing work for well-being. We need to implement well-being into everyday work of every individual within organization. The third attribute is called the post-generational workforce. We are looking for a way to segment workforce, not just by the generation they belong to, but regarding several other criteria. Super teams, putting artificial intelligence into the group, is the first attribute in the second set of attributes. So we need to see how to use technology, to use artificial intelligence specifically to support employees in working and giving their best every day. Knowledge management again, so how to use the knowledge and how to use knowledge, how to connect people and make organizations more viable. Then we have beyond reskilling. We need to see how are we going to build resilience into reskilling. So it's not about reskilling anymore, just about reskilling, but about having employees that are resilient. The third set of attributes is about perspective, as I said, and we have the compensation conundrum. We will be talking about reward system a little bit over there. We have governing workforce strategies, because we need to ask new questions to get better results. And we will be saying a few words about ethics, because technology allows us to do a lot of things these days. And so it's not about can we do something, but should we do it, and in what way should we do it, right? And lastly, the last but not least, we have let's say a message to HR. So based on all these three sets of attributes, what should be the main focus of HR? So it is expand focus to extend influence, and we will be talking about that very shortly. So as I said, first set of attributes is about purpose. So let me guide you through this one. The first attribute is belonging, and what we can see from the research is that 79% of respondents actually believe that fostering a sense of belonging is important or very important for their organization, but only 13% of them say they are very ready to address this trend. So you can see the opposites here already. You can see the conflicts arising, right, and paradoxes. Then we have 44% say they feel aligned to the organization's purpose and being valued for their contribution. This is what will drive their belonging to the organization the most. Well, only 31% of respondents believe a sense of community and identifying with a defined team is the biggest driver of belonging, and 25% of respondents say that the biggest driver of belonging is creating an environment where workers are treated fairly. So you need to ask yourself, what is the situation in your organization and what can you as HR do about it? But the thing is that driving a true sense of belonging requires organizations to strengthen their workers' connection to their teams and foster their sense of contribution to meaningful shared goals. And this is what is one of the main focus of HR these days. The second attribute is regarding designing work for well-being. So what can you do in order to make sure that your employees do feel okay, do feel great every day, not just about the work they do, but about the balance in their, between their private and the professional life. So this year, 80% of respondents stated worker well-being is important or very important to their success, and 62% of them believe that workforce experience is most positively impacted by the organization's well-being strategy. So I'm going to ask you right away, how many organizations do have the well-being strategy at this point? On the other hand, 79% of respondents said that organization strategy does not explicitly integrate well-being. So as I already said, how many organizations does actually do that? And only 26%, this is maybe a part of this answer, leaders are consistently practicing or promoting well-being. So we are behind in this aspect. So what should organizations do? They should try to integrate, right? They should try to integrate the well-being into everyday aspect of work, every aspect and everyday work of every employee. So this is one of the open topics. How should we do that, right? Then the third attribute, as I said in this first set, is the post-generational workforce. So how are we looking at the different generations? We are talking about generation X, we are talking about generation Y, we're talking now about generation Z, etc. So how are we going to look at those generations? Because everyone is talking about how every generation has its own aspects, its own set of values, right? Looking at things at work differently. So we need to see how are we going to approach these generational differences. So 70% of respondents say that leading multi-generational workforce is important for the success of their organization, because they have more or less members of, let's say, generation Y, generation Z especially. So yet 10% of them say that organizations are very ready to address this trend. So again, we have a paradox here. Only 6% of leaders say they are equipped at this moment to lead a multi-generational workforce in an effective manner. 52% indicated that they consider generational differences when designing and delivering workforce programs, and yet over 40% expect work and personal behaviors to become increasingly important. So, as I said, we need to reimagine. We need to take a different perspective on how to segment the workforce for the future. It's not just about the generation you belong to, right? It's about a lot of other things. I would start from values. I would start from perspectives. I would start from different kind of things when considering workforce issues. The second set of attributes is about potential. So how are we going to provide security through reinvention? So you need to provide security for your employees in the midst of technology changes and evolving technological concerns, right? So the first attribute is what we call super teams. This is about connecting. This is about connecting technology with people. So it's not about the technology will replace people, will replace employees. Of course, there are some positions where this is going to happen, but a lot of other jobs will be opened, right? A lot of other things will develop in the meantime. So technology is more about supporting people, not replacing them. So in that sense, 59% of respondents state that redesigning jobs to integrate, they are they state that redesigning jobs to integrate AI technology is important to their success, but 60% of them see the primary reason for organizations using AI as assisting workers. Yet only 16% of them are using AI primarily to assist workers in developing insight, with only 16%, again, 16% of respondents making significant investment to support reskilling. So it's not about apocalyptic movies that, as I said, that machines are being, that humans are being replaced by machines. It's about understanding technology and understanding how to use that technology to assist your workforce, to assist your organization to be more effective. The second attribute in this second set of attributes is knowledge management. Again, we have 75% of respondents say that creating and preserving knowledge is important to their success. Only 9% of them are very ready to address knowledge management, meaning the way in which knowledge is extracted, it is preserved, archived, it is shared between the members of the organization, etc. 47% have not provided access to knowledge sharing tools for their employees. So this is a major issue here. 52% of respondents say that risk of losing knowledge is very high, and 67% have not incorporated AI into their knowledge management strategy. So organizations should really rethink how they promote knowledge creation to help maximize their potential. Beyond reskilling, we need to invest in resilience, not just in reskilling. 53% of respondents believe that between half and all of their workforce will require new skills and capabilities. 73% of respondents identified organizations as the entity in society primarily responsible for workforce development. So it's not about the government, it's not about some government institutions, it's about organizations where you work, in which we all work in. 84% of respondents agree that continual reinvention of the workforce through lifelong learning is crucial to their development strategy, and only 16% of respondents expect their organizations to make a significant investment increase in this area in the following years. So it's not about just taking a look at reskilling, it's about investing in worker resilience as well. The third set of attributes regarding perspective, let's start from the compensation conundrum. So 56% of respondents report that their organizations have reorganized their compensation strategies. 64% of them expected their organizations to redesign compensation yet again in the next 3 years. 63% of them believe that expectations of the workforce will become more important to their compensation structure than just grading systems, etc. And only 10% say that the workforce have a voice in determining how their compensation is structured. So here the thing is, we need to take a broader view, not just like grading and classical compensation approaches, but to include to reflect on how organizations value individuals and to include that into the reward system. Then the second attribute is governing workforce strategies. 53% of respondents report that leaders' interest in workforce information has increased in the past 1 year and a half. Then we have 82% of those organizations which collect data produce headcount, hiring, and turnover information. 52% of the respondents say the lack of systems to produce data prevents them from receiving information to get a better insight into the workforce moving forward, and only 14% producing information of the status of reskilling, an area critical for the future of work. The most important thing here is that this approach requires enhanced focus on foresight, creativity, and how organizations manage the use of data to develop actionable workforce insights. And about ethics, we already mentioned a few words on that topic. 85% of respondents believe there are ethical concerns related to the future of work. Then again, we have 51% of them consider managing ethical issues related to the future of work to be either the top issue or among the top issues. Only 14% say they're very ready to address these concerns. 27% again state that they have clear policies and leaders in place to manage ethics, and a mere 12% of respondents feel that pressure from the board and C-suite is driving a focus on ethics. So again, it's not about how could we do something, it's more about how should we, because we have technology, but we need to be very careful how we use it. And lastly, a message to HR is about expanding focus and extending influence. So 55% of survey respondents think that HR will substantially or radically change it within the next 12 to 18 months, out of which 75% believe that this change will result in expansion of HR's accountability. Now, 47% of respondents say that the most significant change HR would make to maximize its impact is centered around increasing new capabilities, but 63% of non-HR respondents are not confident or only somewhat confident in HR's ability to make needed changes. So again, it's about extending focus and expanding focus, and extending influence, meaning that organizations need to move from the traditional perspective, right, to the more, let's say, perspective we call symphonic. So from functional siloed operating model, where HR is focused on their job as is, right, within their function, they need to move forward to lead network of teams in the new operating model. And from the internal focus on our company, we need to take a broader look at the whole ecosystem, because as we saw in this research, people are expecting organizations to take a bigger leap into the unknown with technology to support their people and to make a contribution to their societies. So this would be practically it. I hope I didn't take a lot of time.